When we start again? Okay. Got it. All right, we will call to order the Tangi Parish School Board Superintendent Search Process Committee of the Whole for June 16th, 2026, 7 o'clock p.m. Miss Amanda, can we get a roll call for this one too?
Amanda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm rushing you. You good. Can we go ahead and get a roll call? This is for the 7 o'clock meeting for the Superintendent Search Process Committee.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Miss Abrams?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present.
Mr. Duncan? Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
And Mr. Toller?
Yes. All right. So we have item 2A, the superintendent search firm progress review and next steps. I believe we have Mr. Hickey here from Top Talent Management Group, and I'm going to ask him to come up and just kind of give us a breakdown on the next steps, and we'll have an opportunity to ask questions and things like that afterwards. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Anthony, rest of the board. Appreciate the opportunity to serve the district extremely well. It's not often that we get to come into the South and do some work. My firm is based out of California, but I'm from Tennessee, so I'm a Southern boy, and the majority of my team is from the South. And so we were very, very fortunate to look at this response for proposals. And in April, at the April board meeting, Mr. Duncan spoke. He stated he gave some clues on the experience that the board had in 2018. And his comments conveyed that while there was some assistance, he was not quite sure if the district received the services that the district had hoped for. We're not looking for that to be a repeat. Top Talent Management Group is about excellence. We do not broker resumes. Resumes is history. We do not focus on interviewing. Interviewing is just storytelling. We are the first executive evaluation authority, and we evaluate. So beyond the resumes, beyond the interviewing, we ascertain performance and how executive is going to perform. We also recognize that this is your decision to make, so we're here to help facilitate the process. What I have already made available to the board is the job announcements. And you can see that the job announcement is much more detailed, much more thorough than what you may have previously published in the prior search. We believe that when you start to screen applicants at this level, it starts with the job announcements, how detailed it is. When you don't have few details, there are a lot of people who may believe that they're qualified. Once you put all the details in there, the job looks the way that it should. And so there's one question I want to initiate from the board, right? And anyone can respond. Why is the superintendent position at Tangi Parish School System the most challenging job in the district? What will your response be?
Most important job.
Yeah. It's the most important. But why is it the most challenging?
Scrutiny, the long hours.
Well, in our situation, a DSA case, it's
The
been over our
DSA
head
case.
for 60 years.
Yeah. The hard decisions, the impact it makes on our community.
What's at stake too, children's lives at stake.
Our children and their
Satisfying
future.
this board, that's a good one.
It's all of those things. But what's the most challenging is the only position in the district that has 9 bosses. Everyone else has 1 boss they report to. Superintendent reports to 9 individuals, right? And we take that kind of serious, don't we? Right? You have to choose the right person that can understand the challenge of the job is that he or she reports to 9 individuals. It's 9 different individuals. In the surveys that I received in return, and thank you for the 4 board members who had the time, and I hope that the other 5 will find the time, because the surveys are important, because it tells me, it helps frame the narrative of what you're truly looking for. Because my goal is to help this board of 9 find the person that you're looking for to serve the district. So that was the first step.
Yeah, and
We need to explain.
that, because my opinion on that survey, and the other 5 that didn't fill it out, our opinion is, we just need to find somebody that's qualified, and we can do the investigating of what that person is. A group discussion. We don't need someone to tell us or ask questions about what their main objectives are, what their this is, because you may be leaving somebody out there in the pond that we might have wanted to look at. So I don't feel like that is y'all's job. I feel that's our job. All we need you to do is tell us if they've been an assistant superintendent, a superintendent, and have the qualifications with the certificates that meet all of that requirements. And if they're gonna live in Tangipahoa Parish or not. That's about the only 4 things that we really need your company to get for us. Make sure of that, and then we can do the rest. And that's why I didn't fill out the survey that you sent. I just felt that there was just too much information that you all were asking that was gonna put all of our ducks in your basket, and you were gonna tell us, okay, I weeded out all these people, I don't think they meet your qualifications, but when true in fact, they may have met our qualifications of what we wanted.
Actually, we don't weed out anyone. Everyone who applies will get a ranking. That they will all be presented to the board, every single person.
Okay.
To your point, it's not our job to weed out anyone. Everyone is presented.
Okay. That's was the confusing part of it, and that's why I'm sure that even some that you may have received was incomplete, and that was because we were confused on your role and what it was that so we were all talking back and forth and was like, okay,
Why do they need all this information?
Because from our understanding, it was just like you was gonna do background check and making sure that they qualify and then it was coming to the board. So we apologize that you received,
Mr. Hickey.
not.
No, and that's one of the reasons why we're here, correct, to have this initial conversation.
So I was going to just kind of respond to these guys. So I was very careful. You and I have had a conversation on the phone and a couple of email conversations. So what I felt my role would be, how I could best serve y'all, was to listen to him tonight. And one of the things Mr. Hickey asked me to do was, hey, y'all fill these out. So you're here today. Some of them have said they don't want to. And you're starting to hear kind of what their perspective is. And that's exactly kind of what I wanted. There's some things I haven't even emailed out to y'all yet, because I wanted to have this first, because these guys are in charge. I'm trying to facilitate what it is that they want, which is why we have this meeting tonight. So just wanted to make that kind of clear real quick. But go ahead. Please.
Absolutely, and that was my expectation. But Ms. Richards, that's how we typically do it. Now, it's also up to this body as well. Our job is not to screen to tell you this person not someone you want to look at. We screen to give them a ranking. And so in our ranking process, outside of the resumes and the interviewing, we have what's called the Priority Index. It's a 125 question questionnaire. They randomly have to answer 25. Then we have what's called the Executive Combine. It is compared to the NFL Combine. We put them under pressure, and then we have a proprietary algorithm that ranks everyone. And we provide a profile of that individual from their resumes, interviews, all those rankings. If you had 25 applicants, you would get all 25, and they would be ranked 1 through 25 based on a third-party opinion. And then we give those 25 opinions to you. Then the board tells me how many you want to actually interview. And it's not even you have to interview the first top 5. You just have the list. You tell us who to communicate or who you want to interview, then we help facilitate that interview. And so you're correct. Our job is not to tell you who you do not want. We present everybody. Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, just one question on that, and understanding the concept of what we're looking for,
Yes.
and I know there's different levels of getting HR help on, what we're looking for. What I'm worried about is like with you ranking or with your firm ranking or using third party or using AI or whoever does the ranking, it sets us up for the public to say, why didn't you interview number 3? Why didn't you interview number 2? Because we could look at it and we could look at something entirely different and come up with a top 5 that may not match your rankings. And I just see, I think back to what Robin is saying, I think from my perspective, I'm looking for an outside agency to collect resumes, to collect all the data, make sure that those resumes and that those candidates meet our qualifications. And if they meet those qualifications, if you give us 5, if you give us 50, if you give us 100 from across the state or across the world, whatever, and said, look, hey, Tangipahoa Parish, these, based on your guidelines, these are the qualifications, these people meet the qualifications. And then let us rank and let us go through them and decipher. I know that's more work on us and less work on y'all, but I'd hate to get into the ranking business from an outside agency and take away our job as far as going through these applications, if that makes sense. And I may be the only one, I don't know.
That's what I say.
No, it does make sense, what you stated. But imagine in the NFL when 199 athletes are ranked 1 through 199. The next franchise up is not forced to take number 1 or number 2.
Yes, but you're not talking about Tangipahoa. You're not talking about politics, though. You're talking, you get what I'm saying? You're not talking about a small Tangipahoa parish that people have us under a microscope.
Okay.
If you put it down 1 through 20,
You rank it like that.
and they see this report, that, because it's got to be public information, and they see this reports 1 through 20, they're going to say, oh, Mr. John Doe was number 1, but they didn't even interview him. You get what I'm saying? That's just how small
I
town
do,
politics
and
work.
those are the politics that you have to accommodate. And so if that particular part of what we normally do is not going to work for you,
Right.
then we will forego that.
And I mean, y'all probably do an amazing job in other places, but not in a small, local, little parish like this. You go to a county somewhere, it probably will work, but not here. We're going to be under a microscope.
Okay.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, whoever.
I know you said, so you put out the advertisement, you collect the information, then y'all kind of put them under a different radar as well. How long of a process does that take for that particular candidate? Because what I also don't want is for these professionals to come in, put in their job application, and they're being just drugged through it for 2 or 3 days before they even get onto a sheet. That's my only concern is, I mean, these people are usually professionals to the most part. If they meet the criteria, you don't want them drugged through for 2 or 3 weeks before you even give them a particular score or present them to the board. How long does your process take when you get a candidate?
The initial evaluation is 2 hours, and the second evaluation is 1 hour. And so,
So 3 hours
So
total.
it's a total of 3 hours speaking with our evaluators.
But my point is their point, same thing. I don't feel like you need to interview them. That's our job to interview them. We want you to get the applications, make sure they meet the qualification standards, make sure they have a good background check, and those type things. And then why would you have to call all these people and do an interview before we do it? I don't feel like we need to do that.
Is it interviewing exactly what,
Well, he just said they would interview them all.
is he interviewing for the job or to make sure that they have the criteria?
Well,
that
they
need?
should, he should be able to look at their application. Did they send in the 2 resumes, letters we wanted? Do they have the certification with the state? Do they have the real things they have to have? Not ask them, are you a good leader, or did you have a good financial background, or did you ever work in human resources? That's our job. I don't know that we need him to do that. Like y'all just said that, and I'm repeating it, but
You're correct, Mr. Anthony. It's not that type of interviewing. Resumes are done by AI right now, so everyone's putting it down the same thing. And so we have to find out if what they put in the resume is actually accurate. And so the interview process is going through the resumes in the background. And there are some questions you can answer. They may say they're qualified on paper, but with a few basic questions, you can determine if a person really meets the qualification and not just something they have put down on the resume. And so that's the type of interviewing that we do. It's not interview questions that you would answer or you would ask. What I did provide to Mr. Anthony was 25 typical superintendent questions that was for the board to consider. But the interviewing that we do is to determine, for one, if the person is actually qualified. And that takes more than just looking at resumes that are done by AI and interviewing techniques that are taught by AI. And so we teach questions that we ask questions that AI is not going to ask them.
Something that is very important for me, and I don't know about my fellow board members, but in the world we live in now is verification, meaning that, and you kind of hit on a little bit, that what they say they've done, and their background checks are done. And the reason why I say this, I remember not too long ago, there was a board that hired a superintendent that said that they were doing X, Y, and Z. Come to find out they'd never done X, Y, and Z, and they had a criminal background that was through the ranking. I don't want that for this board. So does your firm do that as well? And how extensive is that done as far as the physical background of that individual?
Yes, we do that, and that's part of the interview process. We get in our questioning, we get into those details. And so we take what they put on paper and we verify it initially with them, then we verify it through background checks, speaking with people who they put down, but we move beyond the 3 or 4 that they list. We go into that background and we make phone calls outside of the numbers, because in reality, if someone puts down 5 or 6 names for a reference, that reference is prepared to give them a positive reference, correct?
Right.
Right. So we move beyond those 5 and get more detail because of that infamous case. We all should be concerned, correct? Yeah. And so that's part of our interviewing process. Yes.
All right, I have a question now too. How many, this is a parish population of approximately 140,000. And I know you're being from California and from Tennessee, maybe you have experience in both, but how many vetted applications would you expect us to receive in a superintendent, for a superintendent role in a parish this size, 140,000 people? Keeping in mind, we have 2 metro areas within an hour of here, both Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Just what would be your guess? How many vetted and approved applicants?
I would say the number you can look at is somewhere between 40 and 60.
Okay. It's more than I thought.
I would expect it to be quite a bit.
Okay, gotcha.
Especially when the state of Louisiana requires that posting to be out for 30 days.
Okay, so if we end up with, this is called an easy number, 50 vetted applicants, I know that we can't spend 50 hours in this room. I mean, maybe we have to, and if that's the case, that's what we have to do. But if, is there anything that, and I should know the answer to this having read the proposal, but is there anything that y'all can do to assist us in that interview process, or is that something that we're expected to do as a board?
What you can ask me to do is do a second level of screening. And you can ask top talent management group, you can ask for a specific number. I said, we only want to see 20, or we only want to see 10. And so you can establish that number as well. And that's also part of that screening. And that's one of the reasons why we have a ranking system that goes beyond resume bias. Because if one person looks at a resume and another person looks at a resume, different information is gleaned from those 2 evaluations. So with the evaluation process, with the Piley Index and the executive combine that we do, it's more of what are the leadership skills. And then we create a profile based on those leadership skills and based on what some of you have reported, in your survey responses. Then you can look to see if that profile matches some of the needs that you have identified. And then you report back to us that out of that 40 to 60, you only want to see 20.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. All right.
But we hand over the whole file to you, and we just make a recommendation on those 20. The file that has the other 40 to 30 in it, you still have the option to bring forward whoever you choose to. Okay. Because 40 applicants is quite a bit, especially in a time frame in which you have communicated that the board wishes to bring on the new superintendent, which is prior to the start of the new school year.
But
so
I think,
looking at that many applicants is challenging in that short period of time.
But I think if we get 50 applicants, we all need to sit together, look through them, and we need to say, okay, this one is way too far and doesn't have the qualifications that we're looking for. get rid of that one. We could weed through them before we even start. And that's what they did the last time.
That's what we did the last time.
That
And
they-
we didn't have near that many.
They didn't have near that many to have to
Maybe
look
20,
at.
25 maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
I
had
mean,
many.
I don't think we're gonna be sitting here for 50 hours in each individual person. We're gonna weed them out before we even start interviewing. It's gonna be like American Idol. They put them all down, they listen to them sing one time, and they look at those, and they say, no, weed this one out, weed this one out. And we get down to the top 20 that we want, and then we start interviewing.
Well, I feel like with the survey, I filled out my survey, but I did put, this has already been answered in the top question. And then I didn't even answer one of the questions because I put the same thing. This is already, my responses have already been in the top. I felt like it was very, very repetitive, the questionnaire. Like, it was the same question, just asked in a different manner down below. So I don't know if you would do that with these people because, like, it took me a long time, but I know most of these guys, they got a full-time job. They didn't have time to do it. That's why they didn't do it probably. But it's a lot. I thought it was a lot of repetitive questions. So I would hate to see that happen with the people that we're, expected to apply. And then while we're just, I don't know why I've got the floor, I don't feel like we need this very extensive job description for the advertisement. I'm not a big fan of that. I think the version that we had prior to, maybe with a little bit of addition to it, but this was that's like a whole job description of everything we expect somebody to do. I think that was a lot. I don't really like that. And the application had a lot of questions on it that I guess really didn't pertain to us. So I guess that was a sample, right? Because that application had a lot of stuff.
It was a sample, but that job description application is what the state of Louisiana uses.
No, it's a lot of questions on there that really didn't pertain to the state of Louisiana.
He's
Are
talking
you a
about-
good
he's talking
leader, or
about
did you have finance, or did you ever do human resources, or all of those questions in your application just didn't really, I felt like that was a lot of questions in the sample that he sent us.
The reason why those questions are in there is that when you look at the job description that the state of Louisiana published for superintendent, finance, and those aspects are within the job description. So that's why that question was in there. But part of this meeting is for the board to determine what do they want those documents to look like. What I did was cast a large net for this board to decide exactly what it is you do want to publish. You can go with the one pager that you did last time. It's just, in my opinion, that when you do the one pager, you're probably going to get more application from the one pager than you would from something that's a little bit more detailed. It really explains what the job is. It helps with the screening process if you're trying to minimize the numbers that you're trying to
Just a lot
get.
of things listed that, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
a lot. I just
In
feel like it's too
typical surveys, national surveys is done from some psychological perspective. Questions are often asked twice in different ways. What you're looking for is consistency.
Yeah, but it took a long time.
It did. That's why I put that statement in the bottom. It's going to take 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, it took, I think it took longer than that, but.
But you know, Mr. Dominguez, these superintendents stay in these positions for a long time, too.
I know, but putting all of this stuff in here, I don't even know if some of this stuff with minimum qualifications, like, it's just a lot of things I don't think is necessary in a job advertisement.
Yeah, the minimum qualifications I took directly from Louisiana Department of Education's website.
Well, it's up to, the Louisiana State website doesn't say you have to have a minimum of 10 years to progressively responsible education leadership experience. Experience must be verified, minimum 5 years. I could just read it. It was like forever long, a lot of stuff that's a lot of stuff for a job advertisement.
But you get to define it.
Yeah, that's.
Correct?
That's
That's
gonna be our
too
role,
much.
our role
Yeah,
needs to be to come up with what requirements do we want them to search for?
Yeah,
That's
but
bottom line.
not in this job description.
If we want this, if we want the advertisement to go out, which seemed to be the opinion of the board, that's something we need to work on
Today.
the next 48
Well, that's why I
hours.
sent you what we did before,
So if, think
as
what
a
I'll-
basis
yeah,
to go on, but what
And he
he's
did
got here is a
receive that.
5-page document, which, to me, that's not necessary in an advertisement for a job. That's a lot.
I think it's extensive, but considering what it is that we're searching for, we're searching for someone to lead our school system. And I don't think that should be an easy process. I think it should be complicated enough to filter out, anyone who doesn't want to do it, anyone who has a problem filling it out. Overall, I think that it increases our capacity to get the best person.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna, also, let me ask you this, Mr. Hickey. Did we interrupt you did you have more to say to us? It sounds like, you may have had more to say before we started asking you questions. So did we cut you off? Is there anything else you want to share with us before we keep talking to you?
To also consider the timeline, the conversation we had, it needs to be about a 60-day timeline, which is aggressive, but it's doable. And the board needs to look at that timeline because, as Ms. Dominguez, stated, everyone is busy, you have full-time jobs. So within that 60 days, there will have to be a schedule on which the board could come together to make decisions, and provide approvals for different decisions that we're going to make. So you have to look at that timeline. While it's doable, does it work for the majority of the board to be present for meetings so that you can make the decisions that you need to make? And we need to establish a date when an announcement actually goes out publicly, but then the 30 days start to, that ticker starts to run. Mm-hmm. That determines when we can, and we don't have to wait for the 30 days for Top Talent Management Group to present applications to you, but that's the 30 days where the application process stops and we can actually you can start the interview process.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you have to wait and open them all at the same time?
No.
Okay.
No. I can hand them to you as they come.
As they come? There's no rule that says you have to wait?
There's no rule other than, but in terms of looking at the application, making a decision, the board will have to be assembled to do that. And you folks already know that.
So do we need to make a decision that he can go ahead and advertise now, the way he has it advertised, and so we can start this process?
It's a 5-page thing. Did you read it? It's 5 pages. Advertisement. That's like a whole 2 newspaper pages.
Let me ask you this question. Does the advertisement in the newspaper have to match the advertisement that goes out online nationwide? The newspaper advertisement is a policy that we have in our policies. I think I sent that to you. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's a nationwide or a statewide policy. Nevertheless, it is here for this district. So you may not know the answer to this, but I would assume that y'all do a lot of online advertising for this role, correct? In
Yes.
fact, I know you do because it's in your proposal.
Yes.
So the newspaper ad, if we were to put a 5-page job advertisement in that newspaper, like she's saying, it would take up probably a whole page of a newspaper. Do they have to match the one that we run in the paper here and the one that you run online?
No, you can see contact the district, contact this website for the full job description. You just need a short notification that there's a vacancy, and to receive the full job description or the application, you can refer them to
They can see your
the
firm.
website,
Could we send them to your firm?
and that's what we would do.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it.
So can we do that? Can we just say, let's do the basic in the 2 newspapers that we have to advertise in, and then let him do his major one that he has to push out by email? He can do that himself, online.
I think so. Yeah. So Rose, how does that sound to you? The one
First
that
of
runs
all,
in the paper
we're gonna
is
have to pay for this in the newspaper. It's gonna
With this
cost us a
5-page
fortune.
thing?
instead of the 5-page. It says basically it's an advertisement for this position. It's thorough, but it points him to see his firm for the full job description.
Well, the full remainder.
And also to make it clear, that job announcement, that job description is not the job announcement.
But it says notice of vacancy, like this is what you're gonna put out.
That's what we will put out on social media and other devices, but the actual advertisement that goes in the newspaper.
But that's what I've been talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to know what's gonna be in the newspaper.
That just needs to be a normal short paragraph announcing the job vacancy, referring to another link to see the full job description.
QR code or something.
Or QR code.
Because that's what
All right.
the way it's presented to us, 5 pages is gonna be the announcement of advertisement.
No, it's just.
That's how it was presented to us.
Just a job description, yeah.
So if somebody's
It's a job
wanting to learn
description.
more about what they're applying for, that's the document they will
Correct.
review.
Correct.
That sounds.
I was gonna make a point to say this too. So like I said, before the meeting today, I've been kind of reluctant to share everything you've sent. I've sent most of it, but just, I didn't know how far I should be, establishing this introduction. Now, going forward, I think that anything that Amanda and I receive can now start going to the whole crew. So can we set that up with him, just, say, hey, this is now the board member, email chain at this point. And so anything you feel like you need to send to one of us can go to the whole crew now. And I'll kind of go back to my role as being the one of 9 at that point instead of the facilitator. My main goal was to get him here today to get the process moving and rolling. And I think we've got that done now. So, that's
I'm
kind of,
glad to have you help.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Toller. But also, I need to know what your expectations are as well.
Yeah.
And Ms. Richards made a comment that some of the documentation that was received did not have the benefit of this discussion. So it could be taken a variety of ways.
Yeah.
Now, and that's why I was hoping that we could also, make sure when we walked away today, everyone was clear, primarily me and my team, what do you expect from us? Because, again, my goal is to help you choose the superintendent that you want to choose. And so I can only do that if I know what your expectations are. The length of the job description. In our spirit of excellence with my team, we're very thorough. You have the ability to narrow it down based on what you feel works best for your parish. And so some districts love that long job description because it does help with the screening process, right? It also says, do you really want this job? Because it is very challenging. And so we put everything in there. And so we can do it. It's just text.
No, I think that-
and the text can be modified any way
Yeah.
this team wants the text modified.
I think Rose is the only one that really mentioned the length of the job description, and having found out that that's not actually the advertisement, I
But
think
that's what it says
that's
in
now
this
off the table.
email.
Yeah, that's why we're here to clarify everything today, so we can, make sure we get over the hump. Otherwise, I
So
think,
we have to give the dates that we want to put, you got to have received your application by a certain date. I mean, we have to give him that so he can put it in there.
he's got a timeline that he can send to y'all as well. I received that at one point. You had a
Yeah.
projected timeline.
Yes.
You can now.
And
anything
I'll
you
resend
share-
that out.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
just share it with all of them now.
Okay.
And I think that unless there's anything really specific that if somebody added something very specific in their survey that didn't match what anybody else said, then we may have to go back and do some groundwork either via executive session or a vote in public to make sure that we're on the same page. But otherwise, I haven't heard anything that, I think we're all on the same page currently, if that makes sense.
The 4 surveys that I received are almost identical. Those 4 individuals see the needs almost identical. Top 3 was academic improvement, facilities needs, and also the need for open communication. And the staff, there was a staff morale has taken a hit, and you're looking to have an impact there. That was consistent with all of the 4 surveys that I did receive in return. There was a focus on open communication, collaboration. Almost everyone said the same thing, just said it in their own terms. So there was consistency.
In your rankings that you provide, how does experience get ranked compared to title? Does that play a role in your rankings? Because I'm a big believer in experience. Like, in my experience, somebody who's got 8 years of doing a particular job sometimes does the job better than somebody who's fresh out of college with a degree of doing that job. I just want to make sure when we get these rankings that the person with the experience gets the same equal opportunity as somebody who just might have the job title that they can check a box. I just want to make sure when those rankings come in that they're not weighed to just title only.
I'm with you, Mr. Piazza. And that's one of the reasons why we came up with this ranking system. because as a former assistant superintendent in public education myself, and the superintendents I have on my team, that's one of the struggles we had over the years is people were coming to us because their resume was strong. But we learned quickly on the job that it was a hiring misfire because they could not perform based on what the resume suggested that they could. And we realized that bringing someone in for 30 minutes and asking them 10 questions, we were failing the system. So we needed to come up with another process on how we bring executives to the market. And so executives should be evaluated in our process because while the titles may look good, you and I can apply for the same job, different backgrounds, but we can put down the same title. And so how do we differentiate between who's gonna come in on day one and be a franchise player, an elite top tier executive, and someone who needs development? Now, you can choose either one, but if you choose the one who needs development, at least you know that that person needs development, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
I said that was just my main concern. Again, I don't know if they're going to choose the rankings or not, but if you did, because I think that's kind of another major concern of what I'm hearing is nobody wants to be excluded. We don't want to exclude anyone, and we don't want to take a hit of saying, oh, well, this third party ranked them as a 105 when we could have picked 1 through 4.
Who gets the rankings? We do, not the public.
Right, and that was my thing, is we get the rankings, not the public. And at the end of the day, the law
public
states
knowledge.
It's
our
gotta be
decision.
public knowledge. A superintendent search has to be public knowledge, everything we do.
Is that your understanding?
That's
I wouldn't think it would be, I mean, a principal applicant is not public knowledge.
personnel actions are private.
Right.
Yeah, but this is not, this is we're picking, that's the only job we have, is to hire and fire the superintendent.
There's no higher though.
I mean, I think we can list,
And
we
at the
can
end of the
send a
day,
list of names to the public.
The
I don't think
public
we can send
would only need to know how
where they
many
were
we are
ranked.
getting, and then when we narrow it down to the top whatever, then we can announce that when we've come up with our top tier. You don't have to list one. If we get 50 applicants, we don't have to list the whole list of 50.
Right. You're not obligated to announce your process to the public.
No. So I mean, if you get a ranking and we say, hey, we want number 10, number 5, number
Why don't we hire
18.
somebody to help us with this process. I think we're getting in the weeds tonight on a bunch of topics, and we're just kind of chasing our tail around. The bottom line is, we need a firm to help us advertise to get the process started. I think the only input that he really needs to know from us is the requirements, is his suggested requirements meet our suggested requirements. We can put it there and say they must own a dog, whatever. He needs to know what our intent is. Otherwise, it's time for us to advertise for this job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of which, yeah, so if we can get that ball rolling and perhaps that advertisement out as soon as Monday or so, you think that's doable? If you start having email conversations with us, we have to be careful. We can't vote outside of this public setting.
Right.
So you can't say who wants it this way and who wants it this way and we respond to you. We can't do that. But I feel like if he emails us either individually and we say, this is what we think and this is what I think rather, and he takes those from the 9 of us and says, all right, I got it, you know? So in that case, we're not voting. We're just telling you what our opinion is
And keep in mind,
individually.
the ranking's gonna be based on, right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, on his requirements. Because we haven't really given him any requirements, you know? So if he comes back with the rankings
what
and
the
we
survey
decide
was
at that point that we say, you know what, a bachelor's degree is not needed for this job, whatever. If we come back and change the rules on that, his rankings would change, but we can still modify what we want. That's not gonna change.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna change what he's doing as far as searching. He's still gonna search, he's still gonna get all the applicants he can, he's still gonna give us the information. We can at that point say, you know what, if they don't like dogs, we're not hiring them, and we can change our mind at that point, but.
So, and that was kind of the thing I was going to ask Mr. Toll is, could we, as a board, have a group email saying what we are specifically looking for prior to us receiving those things so we know?
Get into the discussion of the
can't do
actual job requirements. That's what his specialty is. It's not mine, you know, it's not y'all's. If we start getting into a discussion of the job requirements particulars, we're hindering his work of finding the best applicants, in my opinion. That's his job. Let him do his job. Let him go do the search. if y'all see something that's glaring in there, and the first thing I looked at was doctorate degree.
Yeah.
Doctorate degree is preferred, and I like the word preferred because that gives us wiggle room.
But
It
in
gives us
this,
some wiggle room.
in this 5-page document, it says minimum qualifications is you got to have a doctorate. Well, I don't agree with that either.
That says
That says-
preferred.
No,
Oh, it says,
no.
it doesn't say.
Well, that probably could be
But
reworked.
that's why I put in the survey, do you want it preferred? That's why I needed the response from the
So then
surveys.
you'll go back and fix this.
Absolutely,
Based on only the 4 people who filled it out.
absolutely,
My
absolutely.
recommendation is to let them do their search based on the criteria that they come up with, unless y'all see something glaring in the job requirements that we as a board need to meet and discuss and vote it down. Otherwise, if Joey gives them 10 things and Trent gives them 10 things and I give him 10 things, this man's never gonna get it advertised.
Yeah, well, that's why the survey, that was for the survey. So this is a sample, and you're gonna fix this 5-page thing to take off some of the stuff that we didn't put in our.
Will we get a
survey.
copy before it is published?
No,
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
this is not gonna be advertised. This is gonna be
But I'm saying,
his
though, he's gonna send us.
QR code. Get it?
We already paid for this meeting.
You just do not,
Okay, we
you
already
do, you
paid
do
for
not like those 5 pages, do you?
I just think it's absolutely insane that I was led to believe that this was gonna be the advertisement in the newspaper, which is crazy.
Ms. Dominguez, I would like for you to hear this if you don't remember anything I say tonight.
Okay.
Our goal is to help you not make a hiring misfire.
Yeah,
The recovery from a misfire is tremendous.
yeah, I get
The
it.
risk is huge. And if a 5-page document prevents the wrong individual from sneaking into that pool and we miss something, because people are getting slicker and slicker out there. So we want you to be satisfied with this superintendent and never consider if we made a mistake.
Well, this is, like you said, this is just a posting and not the true advertisement, then I get it. But like you said, some of this stuff in here, like it does say doctorate degree and a few things that, well, I didn't put in my survey, but.
What are we asking tonight? Give him permission to go forward with?
If
People, y'all don't.
Mr. Anthony? If you could vote tonight to have the district advertise the job announcement, once you make that vote, HR can publish it. And I can work with HR around how it reads, but HR just needs the approval from you to publish the job announcement. And it's only going to be maybe a
Our HR,
paragraph.
yeah.
Our HR?
Yes, your HR.
Okay, I didn't realize our HR had to
Yeah.
do it, so our HR has to do a public announcement, that's news to me.
They do the advertisement to the, the local papers, our official journal, probably the Star as well, and then they'll send, I would assume that in the past, we've sent it to LSBA, you send it to your COSBA now, and probably your superintendent's, principals' websites, all of those places.
That's what
That's what we do.
okay.
We'll send it out.
All of those sites or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But Louisiana requires you to advertise it for 30 days.
Okay.
And then we can send it out through social media
Yeah.
nationally and really focus on a local search. And one of the things for the board to consider, I like in the announcement that the salary is not listed. It just says it's negotiable based on experience, but it will come up in the process.
Yeah.
Because what you do not want to do is get someone to a final, and then the salary is not enough, and then we have to take a step back because we have wasted our time moving a person forward when the salary was not something. And that may have, when you did not get a few, in 2018, the salary was posted as 152.
Posted, yeah.
I wouldn't post a salary, but so in the interview process, it comes up and let them know what the salary is before you get to that final list.
And,
Down this time.
well, and depending on the contract benefits, car, phone, whatever.
Okay, so can we all agree he's gonna go ahead, come Monday and try to get this out? Is that what we're agreeing on?
Well, yeah, but he just said our human reresources has to
We
send
have
out
to
the.
vote on that tonight to
post.
do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did not put an action item on this. Can we vote on anything tonight? No, we do have superintendent search firm progress review and next steps. Call for consider approval. Can we
You can't, it's not listed.
I thought we already voted a
But we can
couple of
call a
meetings
special
ago.
meeting.
I was gonna say
I
that's
thought we already voted a couple of meetings ago to do an advertisement for superintendent.
We
Did we not do that?
definitely did the two
Voted to do an
RFPs.
advertisement for a search firm,
Yes.
but not to open the position. So, but I would
You're gonna have
suggest
to
that
do
we
a
call a
special
special meeting
meeting.
and do that just on one item agenda, as long as we have a quorum.
We could do that like right now?
No.
Why can't you vote
24 hour
if you have
notice.
100% addition to the agenda? Can you do that, Glenn?
Say that again?
If 100% vote to add that,
Waive the rules.
That's tricky. 'cause
Advertise.
Technically you can, but we open up a whole can of worms, the fact that we're hiring a superintendent based on waiving the rules. I think we're bringing ourselves in for,
Probably be better not to do that.
I would tell you to do a special
safest
meeting.
bet is to do a special meeting, call a special meeting, and vote to advertise, to start the process on our end, kicks him in gear to start doing his work.
And it gives the other members some time to fill
Let's
out
not
their
wait till
survey.
July 7th.
no, let's do it. We need to do it because some of us are leaving for that conference.
Okay.
And I've already started, Ms. Toller. I'm just waiting to fully do what I need to, but,
Yeah, but we need to start the clock on the advertising.
correct.
Yeah.
And that clock needs to start, so.
Okay, so we'll work on figuring out a time
special
that works
meeting.
for a quorum.
If it's this week, it's gotta be Thursday or Friday, because you gotta have 24-hour notice.
Okay, we'll work on trying to identify a time when we can all meet in the next few days. And then meanwhile, would the job advertisement that we're gonna use here on the district level, you want us to come up with that ourselves, or is that something you want to give to us that then we can give to our HR?
I can give it to you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right. Also, in the meantime, he's gonna, I guess you can start sending us information as a whole and individually if you want. That way, if you have any specific questions for Mr. Minguez, you can ask Mr. Minguez, and same for me or whoever.
Suggested
goes
changes
on.
on that 5-page application, like putting preferred
Instead of 5 pages,
instead of
maybe 4.
mandatory.
Maybe 4.5.
Okay. 4.5.
Smaller font on it,
6 or 7.
What do you say?
use smaller font, you know.
Smaller font, so it takes up less space.
All right.
Typical lawyer response right there, buddy.
Do y'all have any other questions or comments for Mr. Hickey? I think we all got our
Can you send
ducks
us
in a row.
the potential job or job posting before our next special meeting so we can review it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's all.
Like tomorrow would be great.
Like tomorrow would be great, huh?
I want
It
to just
will.
tell you how impressed I was, just real quick, Mr. Hickey. I asked him to send me some information. We talked on an afternoon, and at 2 a.m., I was receiving everything he asked for me. At our time, probably midnight your time. Anyway, that was impressive, I thought. It was,
You from
he
California?
was on it,
But he,
on top of it.
I live in California. I'm from Tennessee.
See, that's why. See, he's still awake. He's still asleep.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 2 a.m. is when I do all my work, so you folks will get those emails early every morning.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
But I would like to give the board one thing to consider. Since you do have this aggressive timeline, the actual interview process, and I'll give you an idea of how we have done it before that you may want to consider. It's a one-day process. You determine the number that you want to actually bring in for the interviews. Let's use a number of 7. You interview those 7 from morning to afternoon, and you bring in the finalists that evening. And it's a one-day process. All right. And if you do it on a Saturday, because a lot of these superintendents may have full-time jobs, and they're trying to be confidential, so Saturday works for everyone. You do that one-day process in one day. That requires a really good screening process to get it down to 7. Interview those 7, bring 2 finalists later that evening. It's a long day, but you've completed the process. Right. Do not extend it. A lot of times we do interviews, wait 3 or 4 days and set up the interviews later. You can do it all in one day.
But I think I did the last time, y'all brought the last 2,
When we started last time, we did by Zoom or by Teams.
Yeah.
And we did all of them, even those that were local. We
Yeah.
did them all the same to keep the process, and then got down to the final 2 or final 3 and then brought them in. So,
but didn't y'all do the final 2? Y'all brought them, because I remember sitting in here listening to it.
Yeah.
Y'all brought the final 2 in here, and they spoke to the public.
yes.
It was at a public meeting.
It was in a public meeting.
Yes, that's what I thought.
And we ask the same question to each one.
Gotcha.
And do you want to do it by Zoom this time, or you want to do it in
That's
person?
that's just what we did before.
I know that's during COVID, or close to it.
No, it's before COVID.
It was
Oh, was
before
it?
COVID,
Okay.
but we did it back here in the Jake Bailey room, and
Okay.
that way it kept everybody equal, even locals or somebody from California had
Sure.
the same audience, the same questions, the same conversation, and then,
Look, if they're from California, they can fly in like I did,
yeah.
if they want the job. But, and that's something I would need to know so I could tell the applicants, what that final process would be,
I would-
so they can
personally, I'd
prepare
rather
for it.
Face-to-face, but I just know that some people, if they're interviewing and they're coming in from out of town, that the first screening may be beneficial to be, but
And I guess we can make that decision once we know what the applicant pool looks like.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted you to just think about it,
Gotcha.
on what you think that final process would be.
Okay. All right. Anything else to add for us?
Whatever you need from me, you already have the evidence yourself. I'm gonna bring it to you fast, very thorough. It may be 4 or 5 pages, Ms. Dominguez, but we can shorten it, based on these.
I think it needs to be 6 now.
6.
6 for sure, guaranteed.
We're very accommodating. Again, our goal is to make sure that there's no hiring misfire here, right? The students cannot afford it. The community cannot afford it. We want to help you get it right the first time.
Us too. Yeah. All right. I don't believe we had any public comment on this matter either. Is that correct, Ms. Amanda?
I agree.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hickey, thank you very much again. And we're
Yes,
going to
thank
go ahead and call this meeting adjourned. If anybody wants to ask him any questions on the way out.
Thank you, sir.
Are you staying?